Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I think. I don't know. But guys, would you bet any money that Brian Laundrie is actually no longer of this earth? Maybe the name has been retired. Maybe his look has been not retired because there's a lot of people that walk around looking like Brian Laundrie, right? But do you think he's alive? Like, I'm not one of those people that would necessarily believe that, except that all they found was his jawbone and something else. And I think his clothes, but can't any of that be staged? And who's to say that that's his jawbone? Maybe that's a familial jawbone, if it was even tested. Was it tested? What do we actually know? Except that Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito went on a road trip together. One of them came back. Now there's even talk that perhaps Brian was involved in an unaliving of two women that were, I guess, killed by gunshot. But they're piecing that together because I think that that happened by where Brian might have been. Look at all the speculation because something was dropped in the investigation. Could we agree with that? Since when was it okay to have a missing person who was missing for a long time have their vehicle? So now it could be a stolen vehicle because it wasn't in Brian's name, the white van. And yet they couldn't bring the parents in for questioning. The parents just said, hey, listen, nope, no thanks. But yet they could pick up people on speculation. They pick up people all the time, bring them in for crimes to figure out, well, do they know anything? Why not the Laundrie family? Why were they just like, they were able to keep the cops at bay and even lie and say that van was in both their names? Brian was a suspect in at least a missing person. So what was the issue? What was the problem? Were we able to give the Laundrie family so much time to figure out a way for Brian to possibly fake his own death and leave the country? Why did that happen? How did that happen? Is it that nobody does their job anymore here and it just is everywhere? Is that really the truth? Is that what we're looking at? That nobody really does their job anymore? It's just is it 5 minutes to? No. Is that the attitude that we have? I'm just really trying to wrap my head around how it could possibly be okay that perhaps we even have a large doubt that maybe Brian Laundrie is still alive running this earth and got away with the MURDER of Gabby Petito. And perhaps those other two people. How do we know? We never had the opportunity for the police to ask so that not just us, but I mean the Petito family. Do they wonder? I wonder if they wonder. I guess that's something, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even want to think about. Like, what could they do? They have to, I guess, take the word of somebody. Either which way, Gabby's not coming back. We know that. But there was a bunch of people. Like, we saw people outside of their house. They were protesting. They wanted Brian in. They wanted to know where Gabby was. They wanted all that. So how is it possible that Brian left the house and they thought it was Mrs. Laundrie? That's a bald guy, man. How do you figure that? And didn't he have like a mustache and beard? Like, what's that saying about the mom? Okay. Seriously, everybody was wearing masks at the time, right? Because of the pandemic, but still, he doesn't have the body shape, I don't think, of his mother. What happened? What happened there? Why wasn't it enough for the police, to even say that the vehicle was stolen or used without permission? Or where was the person that the vehicle belonged to? There was a missing person at that point that her parents already called missing person. So why didn't the laws translate to that? Listen, They weren't going to find Gabby alive, but they might have prevented Brian from either unaliving himself or getting away with MURDER. Either which way, somebody failed at that. And why should he get his choice in the way that he leaves this earth if he unalived himself? Which, by the way, he was gone for what, 36 days, right? And supposedly, and listen, I'm from Florida, and that's not horribly far from where I was from. So I know those rainfalls about 4 o'clock in the afternoon every day, torrential rains. So I can understand the flooding and stuff. But there were cadaver dogs. They couldn't actually walk through there. We saw people walking through. There. I can understand because of alligators. Fucking alligators in Florida, man. They don't mess around. You can't see them. I mean, unless they're on top of the water, but they can grab you. It's like a shark. You don't know. So I just don't understand that. I don't understand. I can't understand that when the Laundrie family goes through, they find him or his belongings in 30 minutes and then his body in the next hour, and it's a mile from where the car was parked and the police couldn't get there. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, what do the police have to say if that's the case? If all of that is true, the police don't look too smart about that. They put up, they said that, nope, nobody's going anywhere. They had all of these cameras up and such, right? They had these cameras up, but Brian left. He went somewhere. Some people say he's in Canada. Is that the latest? I think. Yeah. Well, he wouldn't really stand out in Canada. He'd stand out a little bit in Mexico, but he wouldn't really stand out in Canada, would he? Could it be possible? Do you think that he's among the free and living? Because why would it take so long for all this to happen? If he was going to unalive himself and go through all of the driving back, and why didn't he just unalive himself right there with Gabby? I mean, if that's what it says, he couldn't go on without her. He thinks of her, he misses her. He went on without her for a few days before. He drove without her. He used her AT&T card or her debit card, right? He transferred money, Zellied. He transferred money. He got gas with her card. So we know this. Only to what? Feel guilt and unalive himself later. He couldn't live with the guilt. He lived with the guilt just fine, all by himself, driving back to Florida. It just doesn't make any sense. Especially if you got a family who's willing to come with the shovel, get you out of town. Remember the burn after reading letter? I believe that maybe the cops don't want to look so bad, so they have to say, he unalived himself, because they don't want to be like, yeah, somehow with the camera, the technology, the people and everything, probably people were calling, he's leaving, and the cops eating donuts. I don't know. But somebody dropped the ball there, and that just seems to be like that's the way things are going now. That's the new norm. That's a new expectation. Just drop the ball. And everything, if you look around, nobody wants to pick up the ball and run. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you think that Brian Laundrie is among the living? Unbelievable how bad things get botched up, right? Guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Tell me what you think. Please like, subscribe, and share. Be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Thanks, guys.